So I had actually recorded a video, I think it was in April or May, to kind of give an update on my life. I'd done the travelling I'd spoken about in the video I posted about in January, and I just really wanted to kind of like check in with you, say how grateful I was for everything. And then it just took me so long to kind of like edit it and upload it that by the time I was ready to upload it, my life had changed quite a bit and I kind of felt a bit like a fake. So to be completely raw and honest, I did almost slip up with my eating disorder. I had so many eating disorder thoughts in my head. But spoiler alert, I have come out the other side of it, and I actually thought it would be quite useful and nice to post a video to kind of talk through how I kept myself on track, kind of what I'm up to now, and just kind of to continue being raw and honest about how things can be and what life after an eating disorder can be like. If you remember, I was going travelling for a bit, so I did 5 weeks of travelling, 3 weeks in New Zealand with my friends and my fiance, and then 2 weeks in Japan with my parents. So this was like a very active 5 weeks, a lot more active than what I'd been doing. Really like 10, 20, 30,000 steps a day, quite a bit of hiking. I wasn't eating as much, I'd say, because I think when I eat at home, at the time, I would eat quite a lot of carbs. So, like pasta, carb heavy meals. I would eat like quite big portions actually. And to me, although that was recovery and what I needed to do, it was probably bigger portions than I needed. I just kind of had my set ways and I was so paranoid that if I ate smaller portions, I would binge. So yeah, like when I was away, especially when I was in Japan, I was kind of eating healthier foods just because it wasn't actually that vegetarian friendly. I was eating a lot of like plain broth ramens, decent portion sizes. I was in more like normal portion sizes and just snacking here and there. And after that holiday, I had lost a bit of weight, don't get me wrong, and I don't even think this was my disordered thoughts. I was quite happy with the size that I was because I was a bit more toned. I was still a healthy size and weight, but I was just more toned and I felt healthier in myself, I guess because I had been doing, like the recommended 10,000 steps a day. I was eating better portion sizes, I was active, I'd spent so much time in fresh air. And at first I was like, you know what, like I will gain this back. I really did not want to let like the eating disorder thoughts back in. I didn't want to, think now I was back in England I should lose weight. I just didn't want to go back into old habits. But then I ended up in like a really weird situation where my body just started having a really like negative reaction to food, drink, everything. So this is kind of like too much information, but it was literally like going to the toilet like 10, 15 times a day. I got to the point where I was really paranoid about what I ate because, I would think, am I near enough to a toilet? Is this going to go straight through me? And it was really quite stressful. And that really, really did trigger the eating disorders thoughts because understandably, I was quite scared of eating. I was really, thinking like, what is food doing to my body? I didn't know what was causing it at the time. And it just took the enjoyment from food out of me, which is so annoying because I do love going to restaurants with friends. I love, having takeaways. I love, just having food freedom. So when I got to a point where in my head I couldn't have that food freedom, which was a huge part of my recovery, it just sent me mentally spiraling. And obviously, like if you're having to think about your bowel movement so much when you're out with friends, it really does just take enjoyment away from your life in general. So yeah, like I said, that triggered me, and I don't think I necessarily like lost more weight around this, but I did kind of notice that my body weight definitely wasn't going back up to what it was before I went traveling. And in my head shifted from being like, no, I should gain the weight back, this isn't my natural weight. When I am less active because I'm no longer away, I'm working from home, I'm working a desk job, I will naturally gain more weight, that's okay. I suddenly got in my head that like, no, that isn't okay. And at all costs, I wanted to maintain that size or get smaller. So thankfully, I did actually find the cause of it and my body just can't stand coffee. So now I've cut coffee out of my life. My body's actually fine again, and I am just so relieved because at one point it was going to be a case of excluding food groups, possibly like dairy, and just trying different things to see what was causing it because it did just seem to come out of nowhere. But yeah, like I said, it was coffee. But it's annoying because I think the mental damage was already done at this point, and I've been struggling a bit with my work and just like, getting general satisfaction from life because it really like drew so much enjoyment out of everyday things. And I really felt like these stomach problems just kind of made me lose my personality and what I lived for, what really just made me happy and want to stay on track with recovery. So in my head, I still was like, like weight loss seems like the option. And I'm just going to put like a bit of a trigger warning on this bit just because I'm not necessarily going to go into details of behaviours, but I am going to like mention some things. So as you'll know, if you've watched my previous videos, something I've really struggled with is bulimia, and it is kind of like anorexia with bulimic tendencies. I was so close to relapsing into my bulimia. The urges were so strong. And just one day I was like, look, right, if you really want to contain this body size, you don't need to go back to your bulimia. Why don't you just try running? Which was kind of stressful in itself because I previously have been very addicted to exercise, but I thought, you know what, you've got nothing to lose. You know, whilst this feeling is really intense, why don't you just go for a run and see if it helps you feel better? You know, you'll actually finish the run and feel accomplished. And I did. I did 3 kilometres with my little dog Milo. It was quite a slow 3 kilometres, but we did keep jogging the whole time. And I did feel really good, and it like completely curbed the bulimic urges. So I did the same again the next day, and I've now kept it up for almost 3 months. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch on this as well because obviously I've said I've previously got addicted to exercise. I was quite close to that as well at the start of this exercising running journey. I really thought, oh, this could be good for weight loss. But then I signed up to do one 5 kilometre race, which is all I was able to do at the time because I really hadn't run that far yet. My fitness wasn't great. And it really like channeled my head into thinking like, no, like you actually need to be properly fueled to exercise. You know, I'd actually rather have like a bit more weight on my legs because to me, like weight means possibly muscle, strength, running, and like the ability to run and keep running. It also stopped me running every day, which I haven't literally done, but there were some days I was doing consecutive days. There were some days at the very beginning where I felt quite a bit of guilt for not running. But it made me realise like the rest days are so important if I want to increase my mileage, be able to run further, be able to run faster, and to be able to do longer races. And I've actually ended up booking in a half marathon for next year. Currently the Manchester half, which is October, but I think I'm going to do the Sheffield half marathon in March as well, just for like a bit of fun and like a goal to work towards. Because for me, having the races in the calendar have really helped me keep on track with thinking like strong, not skinny. And I know that's just so cliche to say, but it's given me like the purpose and the drive to keep doing it in a healthy way where I don't get an injury. I can actually see improvements each week and I can actually feel really satisfied from it. And that can only happen if you are like properly eating, if you are like properly giving yourself the rest days to recover, and if you have some sort of like set and good routine about it. So yeah, like life's been weird at the moment because like I said, like summer was nice, but it's the strongest my eating disorder thoughts have been in quite a long time. And it has been a journey and a half to come out the other side. But I have so much food freedom again. Like last night I went for a meal with my friends, had 3 courses, didn't even care. You know, woke up this morning, looked in the mirror, like was happy with what I saw. You know, really fine with the fact that I've not gone on a run for 2 days. I'm not running today, won't be running on Sunday because my legs need a rest. Like they've been hurting ever since my long run last week, and I think it was just that little bit too long for me at this stage. And in my head I'm like, you know what, I'd rather give it as much time as it needs this week to recover so that when I come back stronger and actually get to do another long run, I can. So yeah, life, as I said, weird, crazy, but I'm much happier again. And I'm actually posting quite regularly on a new Instagram account. So it's grow full stop with full stop Nick. So grow with Nick with dots in between each word. And on there I am running. I am posting quite a bit of like my running journey, but also some mental health related content. So I'm actually going to be a lot more open about my mental health on there. And then also just like stuff that I'm grateful for, my everyday life, maybe some drawings I do on my iPad. Yeah, like I've always been an overshare online, but I've kind of thought, you know what, I do just kind of want to have it on one Instagram account now because I just want to see like how I'm doing, check in with myself more and just be more honest and open. And yeah, I can't believe I almost forgot to speak about it, but something you'll see on that Instagram is that I have actually really struggled this year with the transition to winter. I don't know why. Well, I think it's because I've got a lot more outdoor hobbies, so like the horse riding, the running, but I've really struggled with the darker nights coming in. I just literally like when I see it's dark outside at 6:30, my heart just sinks, all my motivation goes. I just feel such a deep sadness. And I hate like admitting this, but I've had moments where I'm just like, I can't like go through a depression again. And thankfully, from what I know from when I've had depression really badly in the past, I'm nowhere near there. But I think I've always been so in tune with my emotions and like how bad things can be that I am probably hyper aware of it. Like I think, you know, since I felt myself slip a little bit, like I said, nowhere near a depression, but you know, sadder than I want to be. I've been much more conscious of when people say like, how are you, of actually just being like, actually like not that great, because the last thing I want to do is isolate myself, feel completely alone with these thoughts. You know, I've got like so many good people around me that I just want to be open with these networks. And yeah, like I'm not always that good at reaching out, but for me, at least documenting it on this Instagram account, which is public facing, um, I'll be able to be like honest about how I'm feeling, but also in kind of like an accountable manner and a way that's actually considerate of the fact that other people will see it, because in no way would I want to trigger people. So it's not necessarily going to be all motivational, but it is going to be realistic about, you know, how I keep on track of my eating disorder recovery, how I'm, you know, battling some of the sadder thoughts this winter, and just how I'm doing, because not every day is perfect, but I don't know, like you can do what you can. And that's what I just want to show on that Instagram, is how I kind of just keep myself going in the right direction. And yeah, so just thought I'd check in.